So NerdWallet, in addition with Harris Poll, found that in their recent survey, which the survey only interviewed like 1,800 people, so it's not an amazing representation of most of America, but it's still kind of shocking given that it's like a small bracket of people. About 46% of taxpayers don't know what tax bracket they're in or what a tax bracket is. And that's really concerning. That is really, really concerning. If you're not sure yet, America works on a bracket system in taxes, and it's a progressive tax bracket system, meaning that the higher you are in income, the more you're taxed in terms of brackets and certain percentages. But what most people don't understand and get confused with is the mindset that you are not bound to a tax bracket. I noticed very recently, because it's tax season, that it's kind of astonishing, but I'm not American, all right? I actually came to the United States for school, and I knew a little bit more about taxes than a lot of American people around me. Which is a little bit concerning given the fact that I'm not an American citizen, but I had to learn how to start filing taxes here. Here I am, very naive, right? Coming from South Africa, going to an American school, college, and an engineering school. I sat down and I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to learn a lot of things about engineering, but I'm sure because it's college, they're going to teach me how to do Americanism. And that's true in a lot of ways. I got taught how to do Americanism, but I didn't understand and didn't get taught a single minute of personal finance or financial education for that matter. I think you get taught like one class, like engineering economics, but that's not close to personal finance. It's just how to calculate capital cost. What does it mean to have amortization, compounding interest? And it's like very basic calculus 101. It wasn't even very helpful in terms of navigating personal finance. So I decided to ask my friends if they got any tax or personal finance education in high school, and the majority of the people were also quite shocking, said, no, of course we're not going to get taught that in high school. We didn't get taught anything in high school about taxes. And so that is kind of concerning. I always think that before you go and reach out to an expert, you really should do a homework. You should do a homework on kind of what you're looking at, ballpark range on how much you're supposed to pay in taxes, okay? So there's a lot of deductions in America. There's a lot of tax credits that you can take out, right? But having an estimate in your head is helpful for you when you go to an expert with pre-homework knowledge. When they talk to you about more higher level things, you can have a basis to compare with, right? I love to work with numbers, but I always like to have calculations and an example when I learn something. So this is just because of all the training I did for school. So I like to have these numbers in front of me. If you don't think that this is helpful, just fast forward if you want to know what the clear difference is between effective and marginal. But I ask you, if you want to gain a more clearer understanding on what it means to calculate these numbers, just stick with me and we'll do it step by step in bite-sized digestible chunks. For example, if you are a couple filing jointly this year and you made 100K just together as an income, because your tax bracket marginal rate is 22%, because it's from one number to another and you think, oh my gosh, we're going to have to give 22% of the way to the government. That's not how it works. Actually, how it works is you have to give 0, 10, 12, and 22. So those are the percentages that you look towards. 22% is your marginal tax rate, and we'll go through that in a calculation on what that really means. At the tax rate for single, married, filing jointly, married filing separately, head of household, the tax rates for America are 10, 12, 22, 24, 32, 35, and 37%. That means 37% is literally the highest it can go. You don't have to pay, I would say, more than 30% unless you add on all the different other sources of income and also state taxes. So 37 is the highest you go. Looking at this range over here, okay? So 0 to 20,555 is not necessarily talking about your combined income. It's talking about this is the range at which you have to pay 10% of. So that means out of your 100K, the first 20,550 of that 100K is taxed at 10%. That is $2,055. Okay, that's your first tax that you pay. The next tax is any money that falls between $20,551 to $83,550. That means really the difference is really $62,999, okay? Because you take the range, the difference between the upper value, which is $83,550, minus $20,551, you get $62,999. So that means for that amount, you're being taxed 12%, all right? So that amount of the 100K total amount, you'll be 12%. Lastly, you have the amount that is now the spare, or the amount that's left from all your different taxes. So you've already been taxed 2 brackets, all right? You don't have enough to keep going on the list because you only had 100K to start with. The rest of the amount comes to $16,451. How I got that amount is literally just 100K minus 20,550 minus 62,999. That gives you 16,451. That amount is now taxed on the next highest bracket at 22%. So you have to pay 22% of the remaining $16,451. And that gives you $3,619.22. That part, that 22%, the last bracket you fall into, hear me out, the last bracket you fall into, that is your marginal tax rate. Your marginal tax rate is literally the last bracket at which your last dollar is taxed into. It's almost always in a progressive tax system like America going to be higher than how much taxes you actually owe, i.e., how much is your effective tax rate. Your effective tax is going to be the sum of all 3 brackets. So in this case, we have $2,055 plus $7,559.88 plus $3,619.22. Your effective taxes at 100K gross income is $13,234.10. And that is how much taxes at most you'll owe to the government. Why I say at most, because the 100K I started off with assuming this is your gross income, okay? So there's a bunch of deductions you can factor in, like your health savings account, your assets that you have, your medical stuff. There's a lot of other things. If you haven't checked it out yet, I actually broke down into a pay stub that I received in my last firm in this video. It walks you through realistically the numbers that you will be expecting when you get paid. If you take your marginal tax rate, which is 22%, so literally the last bracket, and you compare it to your effective tax rate is going to be how much you owe the government divided by your overall taxable income. This, again, is a very hypothetical scenario. Your total taxable income, go to my video and have a look, is actually after all deductions. I'm assuming pre-deductions, so this is not an accurate calculation, but it is over the total sum that it can be taxed. Over here, using 100K as the gross taxable income, we get 13%, all right? So 13% versus 22%, can you see the difference? Your effective income is always gonna be lower. Take this math, okay, very basic, simple estimate math. If you know anything about engineering, we're all about estimates. Go and now take this number and compare it to your TurboTax, to maybe going to a consultant, and have this number as the ceiling of how much you're going to owe in taxes this year. I believe that after deductions and credits, this almost always comes down even more. Effective taxes in America, because we have a system of credit and debit, and a lot of things can run off those 2 ideas, which means that the government's going to provide you a lot of tax credits and also deductions. You can claim child care deductions. And if you have your own business, you can claim a home office deduction. There's all kinds of things. Your taxes are almost going to be always smaller than this. I don't blame anyone for not knowing this. Again, I am an international, not a student anymore, but I'm still an international despite the fact that I've lived here for 8 years. I just got out of college and, worked in industry for a little bit, and I started realizing how much I don't know about the economics around me in terms of American economics. American system is a little bit more different than the rest of the world, and so every single country you have these different tax systems, right? And money systems, and I'm still learning. But everything that I learn, I hope to share with you in this channel. Hopefully that will make sense to you. If you're international or if you're American, hopefully we get to learn together, because there's a whole wide world out there of money, and I hope all of it can be helpful. Take care.